Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Knicks Daily here. Today we're going to be reacting to the latest Mitchell Robinson news. This just dropped about 20 minutes ago. I actually got off of my flight, I think like an hour ago, bro. I haven't even slept, dude. So bear with me, man. I'm pretty tired, but I'm going to get this out before I go sleep. So let's get right into it. So this is from Ian Begley, and I'm just going to read exactly what he said. So he's reporting that several teams have inquired about the health of Mitchell Robinson. In a perfect world for the Knicks, Robinson comes back healthy and plays his way into shape ahead of the playoffs. I'm sure the Knicks would prefer to have a healthy Robinson at backup center than any alternative, because the alternative involves them trading assets for another center. Any Knicks trade at the moment is complicated by the new CBA rules. They cannot take back more salary than they send out, so the clearest path for the Knicks is to have Robinson back on the floor. So we've talked about this. The Knicks, if they were to trade Mitch, would probably also have to put in Precious Achiuwa, which is a big deal because now you're getting a big back, but you're losing Achiuwa. And of course, you're losing Mitchell Robinson, who has a lot of upside when healthy. The cats are excited to see me, man. Hold on, kitties. We got to talk some Knicks. So we also have this report as well saying it's the same thing, but it's several teams have been inquiring about Robinson's health. So that tells you that teams would have interest in trading for Robinson if they knew he was going to be healthy. When healthy, Robinson is one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. The 26-year-old is under contract through next season, so it makes sense that he would have strong trade value if healthy. The thing about Robinson is he healthy? Because Begley is saying that, well, Mitch isn't expected back anytime soon. He hasn't even been cleared to practice, and we know Mitch is a 7-footer, so he's going to be eased in. He also said in a perfect world that he'd be back for the playoffs and healthy. Now, I'm not going to read you guys the entire article because I'm sure you don't want me to do that. Just read for 2 minutes straight. But basically, just to paraphrase Begley, that's what he's saying, is that it doesn't make sense for the Knicks to trade Robinson, even though teams are interested. But once he comes back and plays, I mean, that's probably going to be towards the playoffs, man. And even if Mitch does come back, let's say at the end of the month or maybe early February, he's still going to have to be eased in. I think the Knicks should personally keep Mitchell Robinson, because even if Mitch just gets injured, let's say Mitch comes back for a game, gets out, he's injured, he's out for the year, well, the Knicks can still win without Mitch. Obviously, their chances would be higher with him there, but the Knicks right now are the 3rd seed in the East. They're half a game back of the defending champion Boston Celtics, and because Cat has been so prolific, with him and Brunson out there, the way McHale is now playing and Josh Hart, the bench is going to be the thing. But the Knicks defensively are one of the best teams in the league right now, or at least they have been playing that way since December. And offensively, I think you can make an argument that they are the best. So it just makes sense to keep Precious, who's a big part of your rotation. I mean, our bench is pretty slim. Shamet, you've got Miles McBride, of course, you got Precious now, and that's really it. I mean, Campaign too, but I don't think he's even going to be a part of the playoff rotation. It's going to be 7, 8 guys. So that's what you're looking at. My thing for Mitch as well that isn't being talked about enough is how many minutes is he going to play? Because Karl-Anthony Towns is going to play 40 or more minutes a game in the playoffs. Even now, Cat's playing 38 to 40 minutes, which means that if Cat and Mitch don't play together, well, the Knicks, I mean, they're only going to get Mitch out there for, 8 to 10 minutes, which is big. I mean, having him out there for 8, 10 minutes is good. But, I mean, if you can trade Mitch and you can get a good wing piece like a Harrison Barnes, I know it might seem kind of far-fetched, but if the Knicks were able to do that, I personally would. I don't want to trade Mitch, but if you can get a wing, I would do that, just because now all of a sudden at wing, you got Barnes who could play the 2, he could play the 3, he could play the 4, and the Knicks could use that because OG, McHale, and Josh Hart aren't always going to be on the floor. It just would be a big-time addition, a guy who can stretch the floor as well, who can defend, who can knock down clutch shots. So I personally would not be surprised if the Knicks do trade Mitch. It's been talked about, and coming into the season, Begley said that he thought the Knicks would trade Mitchell Robinson if he had to bet on it, because they were looking at guys like Nick Richards and Jonas Valanciunas. And that's another thing. If the Knicks could get Valanciunas, I would do that as well. So there's very few guys I would trade Mitch for. Valanciunas is one of them. Harrison Barnes is one of them. That's all I can think of that's realistic. But just given where the Knicks are at right now, they just don't have to do too much. And Leon Rose, he hasn't done too much. I know he's made a lot of trades, but they've all worked out perfectly, literally flawlessly. Even the free agent additions, like Cat, OG, of course, Jalen Brunson, trading for Josh Hart, going and getting Shamet and Campaign on vet minimum contracts, and they're giving us solid minutes. And yet alone, of course, going out there and getting Deuce McBride in the 2nd round, Mitchell Robinson in the 2nd round. And we'll wait and see on Tyler Kolek, but he looks like he's going to be a very, very good player for the Knicks. of course, second round pick. I mean, the guy dropped what 30 in the G League, and then a couple hours later, 2 hours later, played 12 minutes for the Knicks at MSG. So Tyler Cole looks like he's going to be a very special player. I can't wait to see his development. But just this article, let's see if there's anything else that is significant, because I want to keep this video just strictly Mitchell Robinson. So, well, I'm going to read a little bit more. I'm just going to skim here so I don't waste too much of your guys' time. I want to find the good stuff. The 26-year-old is under contract through next season, so it makes sense that he would have strong trade value if healthy, but the 3 teams I've talked to recently didn't have clarity on Robinson's health. So it seems like the Knicks and any team with interest in trading for Robinson will have to wait and see how his rehab plays out before making any concrete decisions about his future. I would be lying if I said I knew exactly how each decision maker with the Knicks feels about Robinson. If I was answering this question before the season, I lean more towards Robinson being moved at some point. So I feel like Begley and I are kind of in the same boat. Is the Knicks, if they can get a good trade package for Mitch, they would certainly trade him, and they would include Precious because he's expiring anyway. And Precious is going to get paid, man. I mean, it was weird how he didn't have a lot of value. I find it hard to believe that he won't get at least, I don't know, like a $15 million contract for 2 years or something like that. So, I mean, the Knicks could pay that. But if they can just have that expiring deal, move that, Mitch is, of course, get rid of his salary and bring in somebody, I feel like they would do that. But the question is a team going to trade for Mitch? Because like the article states, teams want to see Mitch go through his rehab and play and be healthy and then trade for him. But if you're the Knicks and he's out there and healthy, why the hell would you trade him? Because a healthy Mitchell Robinson is obviously better than Valanciunas. He's obviously better than Harrison Barnes. And Mitchell Robinson is the best offensive rebounder. He's an elite rim protector. He locked down Embiid in the playoffs. Can catch lobs. He's a homegrown player. His personality meshes well with the team. So ultimately, it'll be interesting to see what the Knicks do with Mitch. But guys, we've got a game tonight against the OKC Thunder. It's going to be, I believe it's 8 o'clock your guys' time. I just got back on a flight, like I said, so I'm in Texas now, so I'm an hour behind. So it's going to be 7 for me. Could be wrong, but I believe it's 7. And then, of course, I am going to be betting for the first time in my life on the Knicks. Now, technically, I'm not losing anything because I got free money from Prize Picks, and I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just letting you guys know that I use Prize Picks, and I'll tell you guys my bets. So Isaiah Hartenstein, 1 block, he's got to get that. Karl-Anthony Towns has to, I believe, hit 2.5 threes. Let me actually go and check that, guys. So I'm letting you know my bets. If anybody cares, I doubt it, but we'll end the video on this. So okay, so here's what needs to happen for me to win. So Hart needs to hit a 3. Hartenstein needs to block a shot. Cat needs to make 2.5 threes. And Brunson needs to make 1.5 threes, so 2 threes for Brunson and 3 for Cat. 3 for Cat, I feel like seems really easy, but I mean, if he only takes 6 threes, I mean, if he makes 3 of them, that's 50% shooting. So I feel like Cat's probably gonna have to put up, 7 or 8 threes to be able to get that. I mean, he's an elite shooter, so I'm not concerned. Brunson will definitely make 2 threes, and then Hartenstein, obviously, like him blocking a shot is bad for the Knicks, but for the sake of my bet, hopefully he does, and we win by 40. And then Josh Hart hitting a 3 is interesting. I feel like if Hart takes 2 threes, I feel good about that. And he'll be wide open if he takes them, unless we get that pull-up 3 Josh Hart that we saw against the Jazz. Didn't even know he had that in his bag, bro.